The Order 1886 is based in what we call Neo-Victorian London, and we coined that term because we needed to separate ourselves from what people would assume of that era. And Neo-Victorian is really new Victorian for us, and new meant that we were going to instill new things in there, new stories and new technology. The interesting thing about Victorian-Era London was that it was an epicenter for change in the world. It was during this time where, you know, there was a lot of trade happening, at the same time a lot of mystery, and we almost romanticized that period today, which made it very easy for us to infuse our storyline into that era. The only way for us to really understand London was to come here. So we made a big field trip. We brought in about 20 people, artists, producers, designers, because I really wanted them to understand what London meant. We took a lot of reference from places like Whitechapel, Mayfair, Westminster, all places that are depicted in the game, and also the texture of London, cobblestones, bricks, you know, the way architecture is. We took about 37,000 pictures, video footage, about 150 gigabytes of data, really, that we went back with to the studio, and that's what we built, what the reference we built to rebuild London the way we saw it. While we were on our field trip, there were interesting moments where you expect certain things coming here and sometimes you find something completely different. And I remember, for example, as we're taking footage of the House of Parliament, and I turned around and looked at Westminster Bridge, and in my head I just thought, wow, how cool it would be if we had a battle on that bridge from start to end. Like, you know, if the whole bridge was on fire or there were bombs exploding all over the place, that's something that we translated into the game. We really wanted to replicate the feel and the life of the city as well. It certainly will feel a little more dark and ominous than what people expect, I think, in certain areas. Whitechapel is a great place to describe because it was a downtrodden area, you know, what they call the sunken class living there. That feel, you know, came from the technology we built for it, you know, how we have this really thick atmosphere everywhere, how lighting works in our game. All of that basically, you know, add to the realism and to be able to sell this world to the player. The way we approached our story and to also keep it grounded in real life, we tried to echo a lot of things that were true of the time. We didn't want to recreate history, we wanted to twist it. And we always have this, you know, litmus test of how we're basically going to do that, and that comes from everybody working on the project.
It does seem to me that what you've been able to capture here is the sort of dark, inward-looking, claustrophobic atmosphere of this city, which is, you know, very poorly lit at night, which has streets which are slippery with filth. And I think that sense of London's dark grittiness you've captured really well.
What we've tried to do in the Order, of course, the way we're representing this uprising is probably a little bit more prominent than what it was at the time. We have a rebellion rising, an actual organized, you know, underworld, basically, you know, taking up arms against the government. But in reality, there was real uprising, there was change, there was a big movement that happened into the 20th century.
Yes, which you see in outbreaks of rioting over a variety of issues during the 19th century. Sometimes over the way the police are policing the city, often over politics. And so you've got a sense where London is, as it were, a city to some extent, at certain moments in time, a city on the edge, where it appeared at war with itself.
This is for the players.